Once again, you are welcome to another session, another topic as we move on. The last time we were discussing some of the topics and we looked at the evolution of extension. Another version that was even very historical and the video of history of extension system in Nigeria. You had the narration with pictures of even various places where it started and some of those ones. And that's another version of history of extension in Nigeria. Today we are moving on in this class to another one, and that is talking about adult education. Let me explain something. I told us, I said extension involves imparting knowledge, and that is what we are saying. So when imparting knowledge means getting somebody to know some things he did not know before. And that is why, in literary sense, we say educate the person, enlighten the person. And that is what we are talking about. So when you are enlightening people or educating people, it's not limited to classroom. It's not limited to a particular set of people. It involves the young ones. It involves the old ones. They always say, he is tired of learning. He's tired of life. And that will take us to the topic that we want to discuss, which is adult education. And we are saying learning is a continuous process in life. He who is tired of learning is tired of life. For example, when we started the issue of all this telephone, when it came, I remember Nokia 3310 and the other one, the blue face or whatever we used to call it. That time, the blue Samsung. And that time, you can only send text message. But today, a lot of the video calls, all this and that we use our phone for. So you keep learning. Whether you are young, whether you are old. Now, we are having this lecture. We are not doing physically. It's not a physical delivery because of COVID-19. Like I told some of your class government, you have 800 in this class. That is 800 risks. Each person is a risk. But I don't know where you have been. And so if 800 people spread corona to one person, it's almost gone. But be that as it may be, we are also learning. Some we are using Google Scholar, we are using Zoom. We can't use it for this class because the class is large. The Zoom for the university can only take 300 students at a time. And you are almost 800, so it's not possible. So that's why we are using another method of recording in video form and uploading and sending the link to you. So that is, we are learning. And it's not limited to only formal process. Even when something happens to another person, we always say lessons learned. So learning is not limited to only the formal process, and it's not limited to only the institutions alone. It spans through human life and through different aspects of human being. And that is why we are talking about education for those who are mature, adults education. Those who are mature, adult education. And that's why we say that adult education is a strategy that is aimed in form of spread of things generally, passing across social vocation, passing across professional knowledge to members of the public, whether they are in the rural area, whether they are in the urban area. There are farmers in the urban area. There are farmers in the rural area. There are processors in the urban area. There are processors in the rural area. There are agricultural marketers in the rural area. There are agricultural marketers in the urban area. So it doesn't mean wherever you may be, it doesn't mean it's in the rural area alone or urban centers. But what we are trying to say is when you spread information and spreading different vocations, different professions, and different spheres of human life to impart knowledge, to educate, to enlighten, to improve on what they are doing because of people acquiring new knowledge, new information, new technology, innovation. That is what we are trying to talk about. So, such process where you are helping them, targeting them, not only in formal setting, not only in the marina, not only in the classroom, not only in the rural area, but generally is what we are talking about. So, and there are various factors that will help us to accomplish development of skill, imparting knowledge, and developing the skill. Let people acquire skill, acquire ways of doing something and doing it in a better way. And then involving those who are adults, who have understanding, who are mature. That is what we are talking about. But for successful adult education, it relates much to teaching and learning process. Somebody teaches, somebody learns. So it's teaching, learning process. And there are factors that are required. Before you can succeed or before you can do this, the first thing is this: there should be full commitment to adult education by the teachers. The person imparting the knowledge must be fully committed. An adult person is not a small person. Even the span of listening, the listening span has limits. Time of concentration has limits. It must be interesting. It must address the area of its need. Like we talk about principle of interest and need as one of the principle of extension. So the person who is responsible for the dissemination of information must be committed, and it must be specific. It must be in tandem with what the clientele wants. That's why we say extension is interest and need. If it is not in the area of need, you will not be interested. That's clear. So the first thing is that the teacher, the person disseminating the information, the person imparting the knowledge must be committed. And secondly, the quality of teaching itself is another critical factor. If the quality does not meet what is required, if the quality does not meet what the person needed, what the clientele needs, the person who obtains the information, who is learning, the quality must be there, must be better than what he is doing. And that is what we are saying. It is when it's better than what he is doing, there are new things being learned, there are development over the present situation. That is issue of quality. So the quality also matters. The quality must be above the present circumstance, present situation, present standard of what is being done. And then the third factor that is needed is that for adults, like I said earlier, their listening span is limited. And there are different types of people. Some may have maybe absolutely stark literate. Some may go to maybe primary school or go to literacy education. Literacy school, where they just adults learn in school, where they just learn literacy. Some may be rich, some may be poor. They are different. That's why we say in the extension, we deal with heterogeneous. Extension is heterogeneous. So that means different categories. And that is why the teaching method also, we must adopt different teaching methods. For example, talking to you, some they are learning, they are seeing, some they are seeing pictures, some they are watching some things along the line, not only talking. So when you adopt different teaching methods, because we want to address different spheres of people, that is important also in adult education. And then another point is that you can't just say you want to impart knowledge. The knowledge must be relevant to the need of the people. And that is why we say there is the necessity to understand the need of the people. I've said it earlier, the need of the people can be felt need and unfelt need. So the need of the people, especially the felt need, we must have understanding of the need of the people. We must have understanding of their felt need. We must have understanding of their unfelt need. And then we address it in terms of priority. And so any program that we are planning must be based on the needs of the people. So that when it is based on the needs of the people, especially the adults, it will make them to be interested and they will be willing to learn. And that is where you are going to have a good outcome which is talking about the effect of it on the people. And then the fifth point, which is going to be the last point at this level, is that there must be local involvement. The people themselves must be involved. You can't do anything for somebody behind you. He must be involved. He's the one who knows what he wants and how he wants it and what he wants to attain. So the people themselves must be involved. And that is why we always talk about the CDD approach, the community driven development approach, demand driven process. Is according to what the people desire. And that is one thing that must be in adult education. Let's move on to the next one, which is types of adult education. In agriculture, we divide adult education to two. And the first one is vocational education. Vocational education. Vocational education in agricultural adult education is dealing with those who are already into the practice. They are already into the practice. Maybe they have a poultry farm, maybe they have a fish farm, maybe they grow vegetables, maybe they grow cereals, maize, rice, and all those things. But they are already into practice. They are not new. And that is what we say. So those vocational education are those who are that is trying to educate, trying to impart knowledge, trying to inform, trying to make people who are already into practice to have understanding of new practices, new ideas, new ways of doing things. And those in this category may be the young farmers. Maybe they are interested in establishing their own farms. They might have been working for somebody before. They may not be in charge of farm records. Maybe they only come, they are involved. I feed the broilers, I give them water, I clean the place, I do the routine. They are not involved in management. They are not involved in how much we sell. They are not involved in how to keep records. They don't have knowledge of any financial literacy. And they want to have their own farm now. With the education, you now take them through financial literacy, how to go about farm records, how to do this on the farm, and this and this and that. So when we are talking about that is a form of vocational education. The other one is also for somebody who is already practicing, but he wants to acquire new skill. Maybe somebody you already have an animal farm, but you now want to go into breeding. You now want to be involved in breeding yourself. You want to know how to breed. Or you have a livestock farm, but you now want to go into feed mill, improving further. So you want to learn about it, how to compound ration, how to go about that one. You want to develop a skill. You want to acquire a new skill apart from what you are doing now. That is another category. And the third category of those in the vocational education are those that some simple things also you want to learn. You just grow your crop before. You don't follow the spacing. You want to learn now, oh, it's 1 meter by 2 meters. It's 1 meter by 1 meter. Or you want to learn now to apply fertilizer. Oh, I must grow in row so that I can apply fertilizer. Oh, yes, I want to know the type of different fertilizer. I want to know how to apply fertilizer, whether I use the ring method, whether I use the straight road method. That is another category. So these three categories, they are under the vocational education. They are those who have been involved before but want to improve more. But the second category are the non-vocational education. The non-vocational education. That means those who are interested, but they are not yet fully established farmers. They are interested, but they are not yet fully established farmers. That's why I said the first one, they are ready to practice. But this one, they are not, but they are interested. There are two categories. The first one is, that is the non-vocational education, a vocational course for part-time farmer. That is maybe somebody now wants to go into backyard vegetable production and he wants to learn it. Maybe somebody wants to go into poultry business, livestock production. Poultry production. He wants to learn it. Somebody now wants to go into piggery, backyard piggery. He wants to learn it. Those ones, we now have a vocational course for them in the area where we want to learn. The other one is also practical course for citizenship. And that is generally, like when they started the Operation Feed the Nation, by Obasanjo in 1976. Oh, everybody in the country, oh, you must be able to feed yourself at least a little bit. Based Sanders song, everybody should be able to feed himself. Oh, when you have a small space, just plant something, do that one. That is what we call the practical cost for citizenship. Generally, you want to have an idea. So those are the two key aspects. Then, why do we need adult education? The need for adult education. Well, generally people will say, why do you need? Just two basic reasons that I want to tell us. The first one is for intellectual commitment. And in various institutions, we have people who are involved. But you need for intellectual development, intellectual enhancement, so that at least you are developing their human capacity. And secondly, we need the operational committee, operational committee. And that's an informal type of education that we go through for. In Nigeria today, what are the factors affecting agricultural education? Factors affecting adult education. The first factor that is affecting adult education in Nigeria today is agricultural legislation. Like I said, there must be law, there must be directive, and it must be a priority. It's only a recent time that agriculture is becoming a priority of this country. And we are now talking about extension. As of today, I've told you in the last lecture, the extension farmer ratio is enormous. But there must be agricultural legislation, laws backing agricultural production, laws creating conducive environment, laws backing up the policy on that. Two, there must be generation of knowledge. We have the establishment of research institute in Nigeria. ITA is there, SRI is there, FINO is there, Robert Research Institute is there, NIOT is also there, and NIFO for Farm Research, they are all there. All these institutes are established for generation of knowledge. They conduct research into specific area of agriculture. NIOT conduct research in the area of horticulture. NIFO conduct research in oil palm research. CRANE conduct research in cocoa area. So all of them, they are generating knowledge in specific areas. So that they can generate the knowledge. But if they are not functional, like some years back, when they are not being funded appropriately, we don't have new breeds and all those ones after all this ATA program, where they have a lot of breeds of cocoa, different breeds of cocoa coming up and a lot of things. But for quite some time now, the research institute, we don't know the level of funding, we don't know whether they are generating knowledge and bringing some things up the way it's supposed to be. That affects adult education. If there are no new ideas, if there are no innovation, if there are no new technologies, then we remain the same. What are we disseminating? And then, what do you want to educate the adults about? Then, the other one is social change. And this involvement of social programs that will improve the life of people. That will also help to address the issue of rural-urban migration. Thank God we are now having urban to rural migration. Because people are going back to their communities to go establish farms. Some are going back to establish processing mills and all those ones. Now, backward integration also, feeding, flying back, and some other things. So it is important so that you have this, so that there can be reorientation of even the people maybe in the rural area about what you get to do. Then the next one is specialization. Agriculture is changing. In adult education, there is no jack of all trades. Like I told us, like in generation of knowledge, NIFO works on oil palm, CRANE works on cocoa, NIOT works on horticultural crops. And we have all of them. There's one for Ruta Tuba, Robinu Mudige. All of them, they are working in different areas of specialization. So there must be specialization too. You can't be jack of all trades. Oh, you are a tree crop farmer. You are a cereal farmer. Oh, you are a processor. Oh, you are a agricultural marketer. There must be. It also affects. So there must be specialization. Although by specialization, we should guide against it. so that doesn't affect us. Then also improved educational level. That's why we are saying that there is need to establish more institutions to cope with the demands of the people. Yes, I know we have Agric University, that was the last country. Now, all those Agric Universities are almost becoming conventional, but there is also need for that. Then there must be financial education and financial backup. If we don't have the financial backup, it will be difficult to do things right. And it's a critical factor. And the seventh factor that is critical also to the issue of adult education is institutional. The institutions must be there. Like I said, at the time UI established Isoya, at the time OAU established Adeku, I know FUNAB also have some villages that I think Ayekwe or whatever where they are adopted. So those things are there. So when we look at this, these are factors that affect adult education. But before we round up, let me just talk briefly that the essence of education, like I said at the beginning, is relating to teaching learning process. We are not talking about teaching of chalk and pen and all this one, but imparting knowledge, disseminating information, letting people know things, how to do things in a better. So, and there have been a lot of questions in the past. Why is agricultural extension involved in teaching? And yes, that's what we do. When you gather farmers together and you are telling them, this is how to produce this, this is what you need to do, this is the period to cultivate, this is how to plant, this should be the spacing, this is how to maintain, these are the cultural practices, this is when to harvest, this is the instrument to use for harvest, this is the better way to do it. We are also demonstrating you are being teaching and those people are learning from you. So that is one, but our approach is quite different from the university or the classroom approach. We do it in their farms, we do it where they are practical understanding for them to see what is being done. But in extension teaching, the essence of our own is not that so that you can cram, you cannot. We are passing the information, disseminating the information to bring about change. We want to see you change. What changes in what you are doing, changes in the process that you have adopted before, changes in your output before, changes in how you store, how you harvest, how you process, changes in saying that you are part of the value chain, do your own, pass it to the other person, not jack of all trades. Those are some of the things that we are talking about. And we hope that it will help us. And finally, let us look at the factors that affect learning. We are talking about the person teaching. Somebody is also learning. There are factors for effectiveness of learning. For learning, that is on the end of the receiver, the recipient, the benefactor. On their own end, what are the factors that can help them to learn? We are talking about the one for teaching. The first thing is that the person must believe that learning is true. I know, like COVID-19, initially some didn't believe that it is true. And so they were careless, and they are also careless. But those who believe in it, they took precautions, they followed the regulation. So, learning also, the premise of learning must be true. And that is, the farmer must consciously or unconsciously feel something within him that will make him to be favorable to the stimuli, make him favorable to the information that is being passed, make him favorable to the process that is being undertaken, make him favorable to what they are making him to, what they want to make him to understand, so that he can accept, so that he can do it in such a way, so that he can practice things in the way they are telling him that they said will be better than what he has been doing, that will make his output to be better, or that is more convenient or comfortable for him rather than what he's doing before. That is, learning must be true. He must be in position to receive also. And then, it has to be realized that change is a slow process, especially when you are dealing with adults, with those who are mature. So the learner must not be rushed. It must be gradual. It must be gradual. The Yorubas will say, "Jejeli Gbanjo." doesn't dance anyhow. You won't even see an elderly man dancing the way you are dancing, doing break dance. Then to go crack, then it's in trouble. But it must be gradual, so that he can absorb what is being mentioned to him. And then he can weigh the consequences of the land. And the third factor is that farmers, they are like other people in the society. And like we said, the first people of extension is to start at the level where the people are. So in learning, you must not start so far above them. Don't start to impress them. No. The person will learn and will grasp it. So in learning, it is gradual. So in learning, the zeal must be there, and it should not exceed his ability. So that person too, if they are taking to what is above his ability, should be able to speak and let it continue. And then the last one, which is the fifth point, is that the concept of learning, it should be at a stage where the learner have absorbed and is ready to practice. He should be able to continue on his own. It will now, they have taught him how to fish. He should now be able to continue to fish, even become innovative in the process of fishing. How do you make it? So if you look at it, that is what we are talking about. And I believe that if you follow it, it will give you understanding. At the next discussion, we'll be looking at extension teaching, and after the extension teaching, well, let me just talk about briefly. Okay. At the next time, we look at extension teaching, and then we'll begin the other aspect, which is sociology. Gradually, we are getting to the end of the class. Thank you very much. God bless you.